this is Valerie Aiello, and you are listening to Idea Diary. Thanks for coming back to my office and hanging out. So today I wanted to talk about a shift that I think just happened listening to Sorelle Amore Finance videos. So she's a YouTuber. She did a thing called the Advanced Selfie and made a course. So she made a bunch of money just creating online courses. She's kind of like a Peter McKinnon sort of photography YouTuber. Creates beautiful content, inspiring, and just kind of her being herself. She probably kind of niched down a little bit, but I think now she's more expanding into different things, and she created a second channel that just talks about finance. Yeah, I like it. I like what she's doing. In particular, this one video that she did that I will link it in the show notes below, talking about, how to start from zero. Because a lot of people think that it's maybe impossible to make $1 million or more than $1 million, 10 million, 100 million, if you start from zero. And you really you can. You can have nothing one day and have an idea, and it builds and builds and builds. And really, the trick is the education part. And the education part doesn't need to be fancy. It just needs to be you actively working on it. And there's a million ways to make $1 million. There is not one answer. So whatever it is in your own brain that you figure out in your own way, your own system to making money, that's what it is. There's no one can really tell you how to do it, because you could do a step-by-step plan or something to say, like, do this, do that, do this, do that, and you probably can make money. But for weird, creative, artistic, just people that don't want to do whatever they don't want to do types, it's going to be a different journey. But I think the biggest part of it is education. It's really hard for me to explain to people why I don't have a job necessarily. I don't even like talking about it. But the main reason is because once I figure out how to make that first 20,000 just using my brain, that first 50,000 using my brain, that first 100,000 using my brain, that first 500,000 using my brain. Once I figure out how to do it myself, then I can do it over and over and over again, and I will be miles ahead from where I would have been had I just stayed at a job, collected a paycheck, and just kind of let my company or people above me learn how to make money just using their brains. And, it's just different for everybody. The main really aha moment that I had with watching this one video was, I always talk about something called twin ideas. I really believe that there are ideas put out into the world, and I kind of just thought it was maybe one person. I don't know, just in my imagination, it was like twin ideas. And the reason why that kind of came into my brain was that Michael Jackson would call his lawyer in the middle of the night and say, I need you to copyright this song and publish it, and I need you, this song is done, and I need you to make sure that I own this song and everyone knows that I wrote it and whatever. And the lawyer would kind of wake up in the middle of the night and say, okay, I will do that first thing in the morning. And Michael Jackson was like, no, you're going to do it now, because if you don't, Prince is going to release the same song and he'll get the song first. Now, was he talking about the exact same song? I don't know. But I feel like sometimes when you're creating and you're in this magical space, I guess you kind of realize that two people can have the same idea and they have it at the exact same time, and it's kind of a race of who puts it into the universe first. So Sorelle was talking about this because she had heard Joe Vitale, one of the guys that was on The Secret, talking about the universe will give out the same idea to multiple people, and it's kind of a race on who brings it to the marketplace first. The same kind of concept that I had known a long time ago. The twin ideas thing, it never... I did think that it motivated me to think, okay, someone else has the same book title or someone else has the same idea. If I don't make it, they're going to make it, and it might be different. But if they make it first, I can still make mine. It's my idea, and I can make it more cute, more fun, more Valerie. So I never had that like fire under me that would just make me release it now. Well, the way that Sorelle kind of explained it, of how she interpreted the Joe Vitale multiple ideas in the universe at the same time, or excuse me, the same idea released out into the people from the universe, because the universe would know, okay, I'm giving 10 people the same idea, and I know 9 of you are going to like not do it. So the world needs for this to exist. So here's a little seed in your brains. Someone make it, please. And that kind of made me feel like, all right, it might not just be twin ideas. It might be that there's 10 of us out there that has the same idea at the same time, and it really is a race. Like, print it, put it into the marketplace, do it now. You can fix it later if something isn't perfect, which I know that probably scares a lot of people, especially perfectionist kind of people, that it has to be perfect before you release it. I'm not one of those. I want it to be as good as I can with the tools that I have right now. I'm more of a done is better than perfect kind of person, because, if something isn't right, if the packaging isn't perfect, if there's like a spelling mistake, or there's a page that somehow got all messed up, I know these things are fixable. Now, sometimes maybe when you're making a record and it's mastered and it's done and you've released it and you're like, oh crap, we released the wrong track or something. Or we released the wrong mix of the song and it has this word instead of that word and it's all messed up. Yeah, that sucks real bad. But it's done, and you're going to learn more by putting something out there and being done with it and moving on to the next thing, than to stay forever working on something that is just never-ending edits, or taking years to paint something that no one ever sees because you're just never done. For me, I feel like the exciting moment is making something, putting it out there, and moving on to the next thing to learn some more. So I do feel like just from that one video, a new fire is lit inside of me that is I'm just going to start releasing stuff, because I have 5 books, maybe 5 products that could be in editing, could be already in existence in the world. I had a book title that no one else had released, that book title, not a person. And I was kind of ready to go this summer with it, but I've, backburnered it to the point where now somebody has that book title. Someone released that book title on Amazon like in July. And it's fine. It's a totally different book than what I'm doing. And mine is a little bit different. So it's no big deal. But that did kind of just get to me like, oh yeah, it's twin ideas. Like, I really need to be just executing and getting it done. So another thing that Sorelle was talking about, which was about the Jim Carrey thing. Everyone kind of knows Jim Carrey wrote his own check for $10 million for acting services, and he kept that check in his wallet, and he ended up making $10 million for The Mask. And Jim Carrey's really into the manifesting thing. He might not call it that, but you know what I'm saying. And Sorelle had just in one of her videos put in a clip of Jim Carrey talking, and he was saying he would think about his $1 million, he would think about all his stuff that he had from all his success before he had it, and he would just think of his money and the things that he wanted and what he wanted to achieve as something that he owned. It was there, it existed in the world, it just hadn't come into his realm yet. So I did think that was like a very interesting way to think of owning things or things already happening that really aren't done. It's very hard to trick your mind and believe that your wish is already fulfilled when you have nothing. And I think that one little tip, did really resonates with me, that, yeah, everything that you want is there. I believe that you want things because you have all the ability to achieve it right now. And maybe you might not be the best at it, but you start today. Keep going. You can make anything happen. Anything that you desire, I feel like, is totally possible. You're not given dreams and wishes to feel like crap because you can never have it. You have these dreams and wishes and goals because you can make it happen. And everything that you want and you think about and you dream about exists in the world. You just don't own it yet. It hasn't come around. And I feel like the key is educating yourself and learning and doing and failing and making stuff that isn't great sometimes, because that's practice. You just gotta, everything will get better and it's no big deal. Things are fixable. Even if something goes wrong, you can fix it. Anyway, that's the show for today. Thanks for coming and listening. And this show is brought to you by the song of the day, of which I choose. And the song of the day is by NXS, which is the song I'm choosing is not off of this album. When I was researching NXS, I was trying to listen to some of the earlier hits, and there was a song called Don't Change, and it was on the album Shabu Shaba, I believe. Shaba Shabu, one of the two. And I just was listening to that song, and I'm like, this song sounds like super high quality recording. And the song is like just a hit, like out the gates, like 100 miles per hour running. Like, this song is amazing. I was kind of curious, like, when was this written? And it was one of the really earlier albums. And my favorite NXS album has always been Kick, because that's the album I grew up on and what I've listened to at elementary school. And I wanted to play saxophone because of NXS. And when I went into middle school, that was my instrument, because I just thought NXS was just a really cool band. And listening to the early stuff now, and even the 80s stuff, I'm like, yeah, this is 80s music, but it did sound very modern, very 90s. And they did have some hits in the 90s, but they're mostly an 80s band. But listen to Don't Change, and based on the year it was created, based on the level of their career that they were at, it's just really done well and really impressive song. So I just wanted to share that with y'all, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.